But then, he deepened the kiss, pulling me closer. I could taste him, warm, intoxicating, like something I'd been craving. It's funny how life works sometimes. You think you have everything figured out, that your life is neat and predictable, and then someone comes along and shatters that illusion. That's exactly what happened the day I moved into the house next door. I had no idea what I was walking into. The house was perfect for me, spacious and cozy in a quiet little neighborhood. I'd been looking for a fresh start, a new chapter, and this place seemed like just the right fit. I was unpacking my things when they knocked on my door, as if on cue. Their names were Olivia and Mark, were the picture of a perfect couple. She was beautiful, tall, with a warm smile that made you feel like you had known her forever. He was stunning, tall, dark, with a jawline that looked like it belonged on the cover of a magazine. It felt wrong, almost, to look at him too long. But I did. "Welcome to the neighborhood," Olivia had said, her voice light and warm as she shook my hand. "We're so glad you moved in." Mark was standing next to her, his arm casually draped around her waist. He flashed me a smile that seemed to linger just a little too long, and my stomach did a strange little flip. But I dismissed it. He was married after all, and to someone as lovely as Olivia. They seemed happy, genuinely so. So I told myself to ignore the way his smile made me feel, to ignore the way my pulse quickened when I caught him glancing my way. But the thing about silence is that it gives you time to think, and soon my thoughts weren't so innocent anymore. Every time I saw him, I couldn't help but notice him, how he moved, how he laughed, the way his voice sounded when he spoke to me. He was always so kind, so polite, but there was something in the way he looked at me that felt different, something magnetic. I tried to push it away, telling myself that it was just a passing attraction, a fleeting moment that would pass as quickly as it had come. But when I found myself spending more time over there, more time alone with him, that's when things started to shift. It started small, casual conversations in the yard, helping him with something at the front of his house, laughing at his jokes when I didn't really understand why I was laughing. But then, one evening, when I came over to borrow some tools from Mark, it happened. The door was open when I knocked, and I walked into the house expecting Olivia to be there. But she wasn't. Mark was alone, working on something in the kitchen, and that's when I felt it. The tension. It was thick in the air, heavier than the usual casual chats we had. He looked up when I entered, his gaze lingering on me a moment longer than necessary. My heart skipped a beat, and I told myself it was nothing. "Olivia's out for a bit," Mark said, his voice low and steady, the kind of voice that made me want to listen, even when I didn't have to. "What brings you by?" I swallowed, unsure of how to answer. I had come for tools, sure, but now I didn't know what I wanted. The atmosphere had shifted, and suddenly it felt like we were standing on the edge of something dangerous, something forbidden. And yet, the pull between us was undeniable. I was just going to borrow a wrench," I said, my voice betraying the nervousness I was trying to mask. "I didn't realize you were alone." He chuckled, his eyes catching mine, and in that moment, everything else faded away. "It's fine," he said softly, stepping a little closer, close enough that I could feel the warmth radiating from his body. "I don't mind the company." The air between us thickened. The space that had once felt casual now felt charged, as though anything could happen. I told myself to leave. I should leave, but my body didn't listen. I stayed there, feeling the magnetic pull of him, the desire growing between us with every passing second. "Are you sure you're okay with me being here?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "More than okay," he said, his gaze darkening slightly. "I've always been okay with you." I tried to speak, to say something, anything, to break the tension, but no words came. Instead, I found myself stepping closer to him, my breath caught in my throat when he reached out and brushed a stray lock of hair from my face, his fingers lingering on my skin. "You know, you're not like anyone I've ever met," Mark said quietly, his voice low, full of something I couldn't place. "There's something about you." His words made my chest tighten. It was as if he had somehow read every single one of my thoughts, every secret wish I had been hiding from myself. His hand cupped my face, and before I could even think about pulling away, he leaned in, his lips brushing mine. At first it was soft, just a light press of lips, a momentary touch that sent a jolt of warmth through my entire body. But then, he deepened the kiss, pulling me closer. I could taste him, warm, intoxicating, like something I'd been craving, without even knowing it. His hands were on my back, pulling me toward him, and I could feel his heart beating against mine, erratic and fast. I responded without thinking, my hands moving to his chest, feeling the solid muscles beneath his shirt, the heat of his body pressing against mine. I felt dizzy, like I was floating, unable to stop myself, even though I knew I should. This was wrong, this was dangerous, but I didn't care. I didn't care because right then, it felt like the most alive I had ever been. His lips left mine, trailing down my neck, his breath hot against my skin as he kissed me with a hunger that left me breathless. I felt the roughness of his stubble against my skin, the warmth of his hands as they slid down my back. Everything inside me screamed that this was a mistake, but nothing in my body wanted to stop. And then, just as quickly as it had begun, it stopped. He pulled away, his chest rising and falling with his quick breaths, his eyes dark, full of something I couldn't quite name. "We can't do this," he said, his voice thick with desire and regret. But I could feel the truth in the air, in the space between us. There was no going back now. The forbidden had become inevitable, and neither of us was willing to turn away. In the days that followed, things were different. The moments we shared lingered in the air, unspoken, but always present. I couldn't stop thinking about him, couldn't stop the way my body reacted whenever he was near. And neither could he. We both knew that this, whatever it was, couldn't last forever. But the pull between us was stronger than anything I had ever felt. Whether this was just a passing moment or the start of something deeper, I couldn't say. All I knew was that, for now, I was trapped in the most intoxicating, forbidden affair of my life.